Welcome back to the Cherry Picking Podcast, Owner's Box Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I would say we're the best fantasy hockey podcast, but I think the right word to describe it is average, the most average fantasy hockey podcast. Would we agree?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
We're trying, though. We're not going to put labels on us. That's for you guys to
decide. We have great aspirations.
Yes.
Hardest working.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So we would appreciate if you guys subscribe to our channel because it helps us.
Also leave a like, a comment, and download Owner's Box today.
Join the Discord as well because we got a special Discord pick of the day. That could be you. If you join our Discord, that could be you. So today we're talking must-draft rookies. We got 4. We're each going to pick one, and then we got our Discord pick of the day. But first, make sure you trim your balls with Manscaped. If you're going to pick a company, pick Manscaped. Use code BOX. You get 20% off and free shipping. So make sure you get on. Maybe pause the video, go to Manscaped, buy something, then come back. So I'm going to start us off here. This is a pretty square pick. I'm not going to lie. Cole Caufield, obviously in ADP of 108. I was actually kind of surprised of how high that ADP was just because of how well he played in the playoffs. And obviously he's going to be on line 1 this year with Suzuki and Toffoli. But the comparison to Cole Caufield is so on point to Randy Arozarena in the MLB. Yeah. It is insane. Randy Arozarena came, oh my God, that word. Came to the MLB playoffs, fucking had a great MLB playoffs, but people still had him very low in the rankings. He was like 24th ranked outfield going into the new year. Cole Caufield, this is the exact same situation. I thought he'd be lower. He's higher. I'd take advantage of this. I still think that he's going to come off these playoffs. He's going to get line 1. Sure, Montreal uses that thing where they play all 3 lines pretty equally, but I see PP1 time for Cole Caufield. I didn't think he was going to be this good, to be honest, in the NHL right away just because of his size. Obviously, we know what he did at Wisconsin. He absolutely crushed it. But, hey, I'm going to be targeting at this ABP. Like Pavelski, Perron, and Oshie are going ahead of him. I'm taking Caufield over those 3.
Yeah, shout out Jer for taking my pick on me. I wanted to talk about Caufield, but that's okay.
Hey, if you have any points, say them.
Well, I'd say last week, and check out our fantasy rankings every week. We'll link the blog in the video, updating once a week. But we have Caufield right around 90, and the thing with his ADP is last week he was going like 180th, where I think last week drafts open. First few drafts, maybe not taken, and he's just been climbing up. I think it's one of those things where if people see his name, he just keeps moving up and up the rankings and is kind of dealing with that early low number where, he's mid 110s now, first line, get the power play time. I like the pick.
You know what? It's a lot harder to score in the playoffs than it is the regular season. And he has showed he can score in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I really like your pick there, Jeremy.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Drew.
You're welcome.
One day you're going to have to shit talk me, though.
I will. Okay. One day
Can't have you pump my tires every episode, right?
Suck up every episode.
Yeah, come on now.
It's a good pick.
Right. One day, don't be afraid, right?
Shit on his pick now, Jer.
Yeah, I know.
You can shit on my pick if you want, but it's going to be kind of hard.
Okay.
Because it's Trevor Zegras of the Anaheim Ducks. ADP of 178.3. Tons of upside built into that ADP. I mean, he could be going at 110 or even in the top 100, and I think it wouldn't be that ridiculous with his upside. Other centers going off in the same ADP range as Zegras: Jordan Staal, Jeff Carter, Joel Eriksson Ek, and John Gabriel Pageau. None of these guys present the offensive upside that Zegras does in points leagues. He's shown it in both the World Juniors and the AHL. World Juniors, 18 points in 7 games. And in his first 17 games against men last year in the AHL, 21 points. So he's shown he can score. That's what he does, right? He's the focal point of Anaheim's offense going into 2021 and the 2022 season. He can create 5-on-5. He can play the point on the Ducks power play with Drysdale and probably get tons of power play assists this year. They have him projected on the second line with Troy Terry and Maxime Comtois. That's a World Juniors Legends line right there.
That is a shit line as well.
Hey, Troy Terry's underrated. It's not bad.
Not good.
It's not bad.
That's your line 1. Are you?
It's line 2. The first line's Getzlav, Raquel, and I want to say Silverberg.
I think they're pretty even though because Daily Faceoff has.
He does. I don't know. They do have Zegras in the first line, but I mean,
I think it could just flip.
Yeah,
I think it could go either way. You're not
1A, 1B either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Special offensive talent. I think this will be the first of many seasons of him being a star for fantasy hockey. First power play, you're going to have Getzlav, Raquel, Silverberg, Zegras, and Drysdale. I know it's a bad team, but that's not a bad first power play.
No, you're right. That's actually a pretty good power play. The team though, like, what are you expecting from Anaheim in general? Like, is this going to be like this? Got to be a rebuild year, I guess, again.
But it's centered all around him. He'll get the high minutes. He'll be relied upon to drive offensive zone play 5-on-5 and to man that point in the power play. I think he'll have around 62 points. I've got here 22 goals, 40 assists, and then maybe a Calder win on top of that.
Too high. So
Zegras is like an elite passer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we saw that what he did in the World Juniors. He like broke records for assists, not goals.
He had 7 goals, 11
who's he going to
assists.
pass the puck to, though, is what I worry about, right?
Power play. Power play is where he's going to rack up
Power
his
play, I do agree. I think
assists.
he's obviously going to be a great power play asset, but I think 5-on-5, I sort of
Oh,
worry
you're worried
about
who's going to pass there, too?
I worry about who's going to score for him.
Yeah, I don't see Max Comtois as the
Yeah.
big finisher there. My worry with the
Terry.
pick, I think every year, like at least in recent time with the Anaheim Ducks, it's Silverberg or Raquel have kind of been that first player off the board for them, always in this range. And you never quite know what you're going to get because they just haven't been a good team in that division where, I don't know, I think the reason I like a Caufield pick, and it's obviously higher up, is he's playing with Toffoli and Suzuki, so guys who just kind of proved it together and they gelled as a line where there's and I guess it's kind of, shown in the ADP where it's 60, 70 spots later with Zegras. I get what you're saying. If you believe in the talent, it makes sense, but
You might see him play a little bit with Raquel 5-on-5.
Yeah, they
as
might
well.
they might switch up the lines, and I think that would be I don't really know what's going to happen with that line, but I think Anaheim could quickly change line, especially if they're good on the power play. Like, why not just put them Getzlaff 5-on-5 at that point?
I've got one more point here. I really wish that the Oilers took him instead of Broberg. He went 1 pick after Broberg in 2019. Broberg 8th overall, Zegras 9th overall. That looks horrible at this point. So hopefully Broberg turns into something, or it's going to be awful watching Zegras in the same division.
You're going to lose sleep. You're
I'm
going to
gonna
lose sleep.
Zegras would look all right on McDavid's wing, maybe.
Holy crap.
Could you imagine?
That would be actually unreal. Brody, let's hear it.
Yeah, so after Jared took my pick, I had to mix it up a bit. I'm going with Spencer Knight for the Florida Panthers. So goalie, 13th overall in 2019. First round pick for a goalie, usually a pretty good sign. Always tough to say. Developing really well. He had a .932 save percentage at Boston College, 16-3-1. I don't know if that's good. Sounds good to me. Sounds like elite numbers coming in. I mean, they gave the guy some playoff games last year, like after some tough outings from Bob. Where
That's a great point.
The thing with Florida, and so I was saying it last week, I'm not quite as high on them as the rest of you guys. Like, I don't know if they're top 5, top 10 team. I don't know if Huberdeau and Barkov make sense kind of early second round, arguably even late first in some leagues. But I still do think Florida has a team, and there's enough there. And year in, year out, Bob shits the bed and gives up the job to someone. So Florida's always going to give Bob a chance, but it's just not working, right? And if you've got this guy, like if they weren't comfortable with Bob, if they were able to switch in the playoffs last year, they're Knight's the future. They're going to give him a chance, right?
Yeah.
They're going to give him some games. So he's going to have a bit more of a split share maybe early on. I could see best case scenario, he plays the way everyone thinks he can. He becomes the dominant number 1 guy. They are a team that has some upside and some fantasy potential where, I think he can alleviate a lot on the back end there, alleviate some pressure, and be a steal as the 17th goalie off the board right now.
Yeah.
That's where I go. That's what I'm thinking. That's who I'd be targeting, not rookie goalie,
What
right
worries
there.
me is upside beyond 17th overall. That's my worry. Like, you might be drafting him at a ceiling a little bit, just because are they only going to start like 20 max games for a $10 million goalie in Bobrovsky? That's a scary thing. I mean, I agree. He's probably the better
Well,
player.
and
but
the
it's a
point,
contract
though,
of
like-
Bobrovsky.
They can't have just like a charity case happening in Florida. Like, they played Spencer Knight was their 3rd goalie, and they went with them in playoffs. Like, what does that show you?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, at this point, it's one of the worst contracts out there.
It's awful.
in sports.
And I mean, Drieger last year, like Drieger and Spencer Knight aren't being viewed the same from Florida, right? Where Drieger was kind of, developing, not necessarily having the pedigree coming in. Spencer Knight's their goalie of the future. That's who they want.
No,
where
yeah, I
I don't
agree.
see it as 20 games because they try and give Bob, let him make it work. I think it's like if Bob doesn't, have it early, we know who our guy is going forward.
I meant like only give 20 games to Bob, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
If Spencer Knight's better, they're going to play him as a starter.
Yeah.
My analytics teacher once said, never surround your team like your highest paid player as your goalie. This is the exact definition of.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to my teacher.
Okay. You guys ready for a Discord pick?
Yes, Discord pick of the day.
Time for a Discord pick. So our Discord pick comes from captain of the Discord, Mr. Ghost Reaper. Here's what he said. So his pick is Marco Rossi of the Minnesota Wild, and I'm going to read exactly what he said here. So Rossi outscored Taylor Hall at the same age in the OHL, put up 120 points in his draft year for Ottawa, solid on and off the puck. He's not the fastest, but he makes it up with amazing hockey IQ. Could potentially slot into the top 6. Showed well overseas and has star potential. Like Brad Marchand without the shithead behavior. I've got a really solid gut feeling on him, and I'm not usually wrong. He's successful everywhere he goes. The Wild are excited to potentially slot him in with Kaprizov, and if that happens, it could be a lightning bolt of a pair. There's nothing in Rossi's profile that suggests he's bottom 6. He's a top 6 guy, and if the Wild are bringing him up, they're bringing him up to play with the big guns.
That's easy. I mean, the points speak for themselves in there. If he's going to play top 6, it's with the Wild. I mean, they got open slots there.
Seems like a team that has 4 even lines.
Yeah.
There's not really a first line, just wherever Kaprizov is, I guess.
Yeah, Kaprizov.
But he's playing the center.
What's his? Do you know what his ADP is? He must be going pretty late.
I do not have his ADP here, but I think it's not drafted.
Well, that's what I was looking up. Not drafted. So if you're looking for a late round flyer, that all makes sense.
Yes.
I think hard to argue with that.
A 50-point season would be a really good showing from Rossi, right? Probably more like a 35 to 45-point season, but he does have the upside for that 50-point season with your last pick and maybe a deep league.
Yeah, I like the pick. I mean, anyone who's undrafted that has upside, like if he plays top 6, you're laughing if you pick him in the last round.
Late round flyer.
Yeah. Anyways, good picks, guys. 4 must draft rookies. Make sure you join the Discord so this could be you one day. Also, for advice in the Discord, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you buy some Manscaped. Code BOX for free shipping and 20% off. Thanks.